In this week's lifting video, we're going to cover the discus thrower's best friend, bench press. Alright guys, hey, my name is John Bowman and I'm a professional discus thrower, and in this week's lifting video we're going to talk about bench press. And bench press is, like I mentioned earlier, a discus thrower's best friend. Even probably shot put too. But the reason why is there's a direct correlation to how far we can throw the discus to how strong our bench press is. Now, that takes into consideration that you have some discus technique, but if you have a decent technique, the more you bench, the farther you'll throw. Because bench press works on our chest muscles and our shoulder muscles. And when we are releasing the implement, we have tons of tension across our chest, so the stronger this is, the more force we can apply to it. Now with bench press, there are tons of different variations, and if you search online, you'll see probably a million videos on it. But what I'm focusing on is a classic movement for discus throwers. This is good. Give a little bit of comparison, when I threw my PR, so 211 feet, 64.5 meters, I was benching 400 pounds fast down, fast up, right? So now this is, as a discus thrower, we're talking about speed of the movement, not exactly perfect powerlifting technique. So I want you to keep that in mind. If you're a power lifter, watch a powerlifting video about bench press. But if you're a discus thrower, stay here, and we're going to show you how this is vital to your throwing. When it comes to bench press, the lift is pretty simple, but I'll show you a couple things that you want to keep in mind. One is how wide to put your arms. Now, when I first did bench press, I was told, make your arms really wide, because that simulates discus better. And technically that's probably true. Think about when we're letting go of the discus, we're out here. But bench press, and if we're training a lot, we have to protect our joints. And our shoulder joint is held together by muscles more than anything else. And so we want to do this lift in a way for longevity. So we have shoulder strength our entire life and not worrying about blowing out of shoulders. So rather than a super wide grip, you're going to have I would call a medium grip. It's not narrow. That's focusing on your triceps. That's a different lift. We want a medium grip. So for me, a medium grip is, and for you too, just wider than shoulders width. Look something like this. This is what I'd call a medium grip. This is what I would call like a wide grip. If you see I have rings here, we want to be, I like to put my pinkies on the rings, and that's kind of how I gauge where my grip is. The second thing I want you to keep in mind is your elbow movement. So when you're bringing the bar down, rather than your elbows coming out, you want your elbows to stay relatively in. Again, this is protecting your shoulder. So pretty good bench technique looks like this. When you go down to just below your nipples or about where your sternum is. That's a good range of motion. So that's bench press. Now you can do that with a bar. You can do it with dumbbells. You can do it in the decline position. You can do it on the incline position. I would say for the most part, our hand grip is going to be the same. The only other thing I'll say is make sure you have your fingers and thumb wrapped around the bar rather than tucking your thumbs behind the bar. That's just way more risky, and you have the risk of dropping the bar. So that is bench press. So like I was saying earlier, bench press is a fundamental movement for discus throwers. It develops our chest muscles and our front shoulder muscles. I will say we want to do more than just bench press. We want to work our upper back muscles too. So if bench press is pushing, we want to do things also that are pulling. We want to even out our upper body muscles, but it's a good one. How to do it? So I would do chest workouts up to twice a week. It depends on your conditioning level, depends on your skill level, your age, between 1 and 2 times a week. I don't think you need to do it more than twice a week. Again, consider this. This is advice for throwers. Think about how much throwing you probably do. 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week. And every single time you throw, you're stressing your chest and your shoulder muscles. And so we have to keep in mind the total amount of training we do and not to overwork certain areas. So do bench press or exercises like bench press up to twice a week. Again, lifts like this, anything from 3 sets of 5 to 3 sets of 8 to 5 sets of 5 to 3 sets of 10, or you see the point there. Again, is to have some variety, but more important is consistency and kind of feeling it out. So again, just to recap, bench press, great lift for throwers. Have your hands at a medium grip, fingers and thumbs around the bar, and elbows in as you go down. That will keep you safe. That will help you to stay strong for a lifetime and help you throw farther. So good luck out there. If you haven't seen it already, check out my discus and rotational shot put course. It's the most comprehensive training I've ever put together. It takes you step by step from the very first things you do all the way through doing the full spin. It's $250. You have access to it for 2 whole years. It's totally worth it. Again, you can check out that. There's a link in the description. But you guys are doing great, and I'll see you on the next video.